Hey guys, welcome to DayZ Epoch, the mod off of Arma 2. This is my very first ever YouTube video, never done this before, so bear with me. I'm not very good at this, so basically I'm just going to give you a tour of my base, which is right over here. For those of you that are obsessed with DayZ like I am right now, I'm about 4 weeks in to this non-PvP server that I've been playing, and I'm absolutely loving it. So let's go. Okay, so not much to it. I tried to make this as least complicated as possible. So what I've done is, when I first started playing, I started with this control tower here. None of this was here. None of this was here. None of this was here. And I basically just surrounded it with sandbags to the point that this used to be my entrance, where this pole is that I haven't been able to figure out how to remove. And then I realized, that's a little too big. I wanted it a little more compact, so I got rid of the sandbags. I also realized that I wanted high walls. But before I made the high walls, I built this garage. And any of you that have made cinder block walls know that it's very time consuming. So I wanted to figure out a way to make high walls without having to build everything and spend a lot of gold. So I realized that this was the cheapest route, these shipping containers. All you need is 4 pieces of scrap metal and you can have a ball. I mean, it took me no time to put these up. They're very high, very protective, and best of all, it also acts as a walkway around your base, which was absolutely perfect. I couldn't have come up with anything better. This saved me a lot of time. It was super easy. Protects you from prying eyes when people are coming by in their vehicles. And this is actually a really good setup for when you're really close to another town, where there are a lot of spawning zombies and AI, because they can't take pot shots at you and take you out because the walls are too high. Anyways, in this particular non-PvP server that I'm in, you're not allowed to build near towns, so I don't have to worry about that. The nearest town I have is over here, where even when I zoom in with my scope, sometimes you can make out AI running around, but they never come over here. For a short time, I had apartment buildings built over here, and for those of you that know DayZ, you know apartment buildings spawn zombies like crazy, and it just became overwhelming because they were, for whatever reason, they were spawning inside my base. And even though I'm protected up here, I didn't want to deal with that unnecessary stress, so I tore them down. Maybe once my base is complete, which it almost is, I'll put the apartment buildings up there and just leave them there, and then just deal with the zombies, so I have a little bit of action when I'm playing. Because non-PvP servers, once you've got everything taken care of that you want, it gets boring. You kind of have to go out and find trouble. Every once in a while, I'll get out of here and go over to town and just shoot up some zombies. You can see from my zombie kills up at the top right of the screen, I've got 184 AI, killed 17, and I've survived 6 days. The longest I've ever survived was 19 days. Short funny story, I joined the server one day after 19 days of survival and was acting a little cocky. Got in my chopper, told everybody I was heading over to the Northwest Air Force Base to destroy some more AI, and not even 3 seconds after I landed and hopped out of my chopper, I was shot and killed, and everybody laughed. But that's what I love about this game. Like, in a moment's notice, you can die, and you don't know when it's coming. Uh, your helicopters are very sensitive. Like, if you even land too hard, you'll damage them, and then you might damage your rotor, and you're stuck, and you might be in a bad spot. So next thing you know, you've damaged your vehicle when you didn't intend to, and you're stuck somewhere where you don't want to be, and next thing you know, you're dead. And for those of you that have not played DayZ before, I strongly recommend starting off in a non-PvP server, because you don't have to worry about the stress, especially when the admins are very friendly. This was the very first server that I started in, and you know, when I started, I spawned on the coastline just like everybody else. I had a small backpack with nothing in it. I don't even think I had any bullets for the gun that I had, and I was being chased around by zombies, and I asked for help, and one of the administrators came, picked me up, took me to a dealer, gave me a little bit of gold to start off with, gave me some recommendations on what to buy, what to put in my tool belt, because your tool belt is very important. Let me see if I can get it open here. So all these items in my tool belt are you need to survive, basically. You don't have to have all of these, but you can't complete certain tasks and you can't build certain things without some of these items. If you're just starting off, you definitely need a toolbox, a GPS, a map, the hunting knife, and the hatchet, the small axe. Those are needed, and the matches. Try to find those as soon as you can from AI in towns, or just from scrounging around in town and hopefully stumbling across them. And a good backpack. I use the large gun bag because it's got a lot of spots. It holds a lot of things, multiple weapons, and I'm very happy with it. Anyway, back to the base. So once I got my walls set up, I decided I wanted some place to put my chopper. So I built this helipad, and I learned another valuable lesson about how the server creates objects upon restart. I had created this helipad. It was a little bit smaller before, and quit the game, then joined again the next day, and my chopper was on the ground and damaged. So I asked the admin, I said, what's going on? He's like, well, you need to remember that the server creates the objects in the order that they were created by me. So because I had purchased my chopper early in the game, and then I created the helipad later on in the game, the chopper spawned first when the server restarted, and the floor spawned last. So the chopper spawned midair and fell to the ground before the floor was created. So just keep that in mind. Everything you build when the server restarts will spawn in order that it was built. So that is very important when you're building things on top of things. For example, like the fuel pump. You know, make sure you build the fuel pump on top of your floor after it's built. And which I don't know why you would build a fuel pump in midair, anyways. But so again, start in a non-PvP server, so you don't have to deal with the stress unless you like being stressed out and always running around and worrying when you're gonna die next. Because a non-PvP server will give you the freedom to do what you want and to understand how things work. You'll understand the difference between the build server and the crafting server, because there are big differences. Build items such as these items. See if I can bring it up here. These items here, you can't really move up and down and around in the server when you're building them. There's just one way you can put them, and then you're done. But in the crafting menu, which I can't really bring up right now, those items can be moved up and down. You can turn them around. You can flip them by using page up, page down, the Q key, and it gives you a lot of options. That's how you get these floor panels up here so high, because you can actually move them up and down, as opposed to like the hanger and these containers. All you can do is spin them around by turning yourself and then hoping you get them straight and then placing them. That's another thing about building your base when you are by yourself, is you don't have that line of sight to know that you're putting things down evenly. So if you go up in the air and look down at my base, it looks it's not a perfect square by no means. It's crooked. The containers are all staggered, because they're hard to place straight. You might think you're putting them in a perfect position, and then you hit the spacebar to start creating, and then when it's done, it moves. It's like it doesn't stay where you put it. It like moves a little bit, which when you're anal about stuff like that, like I am, it's a little frustrating, but you get over it pretty quick. These are some of the vehicles I picked up early on in the game. And basically what I did is, when I started, is I asked the admins what's the easiest way to make money, and they said chop wood. And that's what I did. I went and happened to get my hands on a chainsaw and went into the forest, and I started chopping wood. And I'd take the lumber that I created from chopping the trees down, and created plywood packs and sold those to the trader, and they're worth a lot of money. So if you want to know the tip and trick to make money quickly, there's two ways. At least these are the ways that I made my, as you can see up here in my pigged bank on the top right, I have 270 plus briefcases of gold, and I've accumulated all of that from chopping wood, selling plywood packs, and B, running around with my chopper, collecting vehicles, unclaimed vehicles, and selling them at the trader. That's how I've accumulated it. That's basically what I do when I log on now. Besides going to the Air Force bases and going to the towns looking for AI, that's what I do. I scavenge for vehicles and I sell them. I have more gold than I will ever need, and you know, the only satisfaction I get out of it is I can buy any vehicle I want, and build whatever I want. There are risks involved with anything. Anytime you venture out and go into a town, like over here, you could die, and you could walk into this town with all the ammo in the world, all the med packs in the world, everything you need to survive, and you'll die so quickly. But that's one of the things I like about the game. So anyways, I built this garage. It's got locking garage doors. You can pick up these combo locks off of AI. You don't have to buy them. You can scavenge for them, and you can upgrade your garage doors and make them lockable. I have this metal storage shed in my garage, which has all my building supplies in it. I plan on building a second storage shed for more supplies. These are not secured, so it's important to keep them someplace that is secured, like in my garage here. You can see when I built the garage, it's not even. You can see the back wall doesn't even touch the control tower. That was not done intentionally. It all goes back to not having a second pair of eyes to help guide you. But it actually kind of worked out for me, because now I can walk through, instead of having to walk all the way around the garage, I can walk through it. And then to make it a little more secure, I built this wall and put a door here. So the only way people can really come in here is if they fly in and come down my control tower, or if they build a ladder outside my wall and crawl their way in here. But again, this is a non-PvP server. There are a lot of rules. There's no stealing. You're not even supposed to go into other people's bases without permission. And for the most part, everybody pretty much sticks to the rules. Otherwise, they are banned immediately. So a lot of freedom, no stress, unless you make stress for yourself. And we can go for a ride. I've got 5 safes right now. Before I build my metal storage shed, they were all filling up. The safes are great, but they don't hold a lot of things when it comes to building materials. They fill up really fast, so the metal storage shed is a definite must. And if anybody is confused about how to build any of those craftable items, I suggest going to Google and typing in DayZ Epoch Wiki, and you'll go to the Epoch Wiki page, which explains everything in great detail. So right now, for the end of my video, I'm just gonna go up in the sky a little bit and show you my base from above, mainly just to show you how crooked it is. But again, I couldn't help it because I built everything myself. So, and hopefully I don't crash. One thing about vehicles is they're very sensitive. The controls, you have to make sure you find the controls you like. Other players have told me that you can set up your controls similar to that in Battlefield 4. I basically just played around with the hotkeys until I found something that worked for me, and I've gotten pretty good at it. Actually, from this angle, it looks perfectly square, or rectangle at least, but it's not. It's far from it. Let's go over here. You can see right there, it's not perfect, but you can see there, they kind of wave. My storage containers are kind of wavy, they're not straight. The sandbags aren't even straight, but it is what it is. And you can see other people's bases nearby. I don't normally fly in first person view like this, so that's why it's a little wobbly. But I don't want to go into the exterior view because it's very loud. Other people's bases, just to give you an idea of what they do. There are some incredible bases on this server. People come up with the craziest things. They have limited us to how many objects we can create to 200, so it does limit you, but you have to remember that the more objects on the server attached to a player, the lower the FPS on the server. So you have to compromise, which I understand. But you know, this server has a lot of vehicles that you can just pick up. Like for example, there's some on the roadway right there, and there's a biplane right here, which is worth, I think, at least 3 briefcases at the trader. So I can come down here. Let me exit out here. So I can come down here, I can pick this thing up. If it's not claimed. Which I'll know in just a second. Okay, I'm gonna lift it. Okay, it's not claimed. So I can take this chopper right now over to a trader and sell it and make about 300 gold bricks. If I believe I'm saying that right. But I'm not gonna do that right now. I'm just gonna bring it over towards my base. And I'm gonna drop it off. Maybe I'll sell it later. So that's it. I just wanted to give you guys a tour, show you around. Still a work in progress, still making minor changes here and there, but I'm pretty much done. There's not really much else I want to do to it. Right now I've been focusing on finding and selling vehicles just for the gold, even though I have more gold than I will ever need. But it's fun. But anyways, this is what I've been obsessed with over the last 4 weeks. I've been playing every day before and after work, depriving my family of much needed attention. Either way, it's very fun. Do what you want. You can make the game as dangerous as you want it to be. And always remember to lock your vehicles. That's very important. Or you might log into the server and find your chopper gone, find your tanks gone. Buy lots of safes, keep them secured. I have different safes for different things. Like this safe here has nothing but weapons in it. This safe has nothing but food, which actually I can see by the flashing on the bottom right there that I'm very thirsty. I've got building materials in here. Oh, I've got vehicle parts in this one, and in this one here I've got all my spare gold that I haven't deposited into the banking system, and medical type stuff to keep me alive. Oh, one thing I learned early on is the armored SUV is a very good thing to have. This thing holds 20,000 items. I think it's the only thing on the server. If you see here, it holds 5,000 weapons and 19,999 other items like building materials and whatnot, engine parts. I'm not sure what this other item is here. But yeah, it's the greatest thing to have because it just holds everything. So like, let's say you want to go on a wood chopping binge. Take your SUV, go into the woods, build yourself a workbench, and just start chopping away. And just load all your wood or your plywood packs into the SUV, and then take that SUV right over to a trader. It is armored. Unlike these other SUVs that are next to it, these things, one bullet and they're useless. But the armored SUV or the Warrior, those are my two favorite vehicles. I just bought the tank recently. Don't know why. I saw a lot of other players had it, so I bought it. It's very fast. I forgot the name of it. It's the M1A1. In my hangar, I've got vehicles that I acquired early on in the game. Like this was the very first truck I salvaged and repaired. I've grown attached to it, so I don't want to get rid of it, even though it's worthless. These vehicles I found and just didn't want to sell for whatever reason. These are important to have. This is an ammo truck. This is a fuel truck, and this is a repair truck. The repair truck is really glitchy. I have a hard time figuring out how to get it to repair things, but every once in a while, like my chopper, I'll land too hard, or AI will damage one of my vehicles, and I can pull up to the repair truck and it'll repair it. Keep in mind though that anything that is repaired by the repair truck, all those repairs will disappear on server restart. Same thing goes with the fuel truck. You could fill up all your vehicles with it if it's nearby, and the ammo truck, especially when you have a tank or a warrior, you just bring it over by the ammo truck and you can refill your ammo. So that's about it. That's where I'm at right now. I'm having a lot of fun. Love this game. Like I said, I'm obsessed with it. So I hope you enjoyed. This is my very first video. Never done this before. If you have any questions, let me know. I've pretty much learned every lesson there is to learn in here on what not to do. I've died many times doing stupid things that I shouldn't have done, but I didn't know any better at the time. So anyways, take care.